Only 26 barrels were made of this beautiful 2023 Arnot-Roberts Sonoma Coast Syrah coming from Sonoma County. When I tell you that there are few producers in the wine world and in California who just are adored almost universally by somms, by critics, by their members. There are just a handful, and Arnot-Roberts is certainly one of them. This is a wine so beloved in the wine world that you will find it on most of the major wine lists across the country. This is a wine that you will find at Love Medicine Park. You will find it at those big restaurants that you love in San Francisco. It is just a wine that people love, and they love it because these wines outperform their price in a way that so few can do. I also love the fact that we're talking about Syrah. And Syrah is this grape that just for some reason continues to not get the love that I think is due. I don't know why. Somms love it. It's a meal in a glass, and I'll tell you why that is in a second. But if you're someone that loves a bigger, more vibrant red wine that maybe doesn't love huge tannins, I think this is a wine. I think this is a grape that you should get on board with, and Arnot-Roberts should be the producer that you do that with. So let's talk about what's going on in the glass here. So on the nose, all of those very expressive, beautiful things that we normally get with Syrah, and specifically California Syrah. So we're getting those really lovely sort of purple violet hues, all of those things that make you think of those colors. We're getting lavender, we're getting violets, we are getting the gaminess of Syrah. So Syrah, like I said before, tends to feel like a meal in a glass because it does have sort of this weird gaminess going on. And what I mean by that is as you smell it, you should be getting like a little bit of a meaty, sort of briny, olivey thing that reminds you of a charcuterie board, like in the best way. And so when I say meal in the glass, it's kind of like that. When you take a bite of charcuterie and a sip of wine, it's kind of what it feels like. It's kind of what it smells like. And the other thing that I love so much about a wine like this is Syrah has a tendency sometimes to be really overblown, to let it get really expressive and really over the top, depending on where it's grown and who's producing it. But Arnot-Roberts is one of those producers that really exercises restraint. They harness what they have and they just give it a little bit of gas, but not all of it. And so it kind of forces you to come to the wine versus the wine coming to you. And I just love that so much because Syrah can be very over the top. And I think that's why some people get a little bit scared of it. But when it's made in this way, it almost reminds you a little bit more of Pinot Noir. And so when you're smelling this wine, kind of digging for those flavors, move your head around a lot because you'll find some really beautiful things that even I haven't mentioned in these tasting notes. But let's talk about what this actually tastes like. There it is. That textbook salinity. So there is a saltiness to this wine that will remind you a little bit of like a black olive. There is tannin to this wine. There is definitely that drying sensation that you're getting on your tongue, but it really kind of dissipates fairly quickly. It's not coating the mouth in a really big way like you would see with something like Cabernet Sauvignon. All of the things that I was talking about on the nose are translating very much into the palate, but it is that sort of briny, savory, salty thing that hits you first and foremost. This wine will open really beautifully and it will do some really fun things, especially because of how it's made, which is in this more minimalist style. So you're not seeing a ton of new French oak. If any on here, it's a little bit of whole cluster, which is where some of that texture is coming from. I should also note that all of these wines all come from organically farmed vineyards. So you're getting a really beautiful expression of site from all over the Sonoma Coast from some of the best vineyard sources. And already, as it's opening in the glass, it's starting to kind of do this. It's starting to kind of open up and give you a little bit more, but it's not opulent. This is a wine that makes you come to it. So if you want a little bit more, if you want to hit the gas on it, go ahead and give it a decant, put it in a big glass, get lots of air into it, and you'll see it kind of unfold in front of your eyes. In terms of food, what are we enjoying with this? Well, I already mentioned charcuterie, which is a great place to be. You can kind of do the same pairing. But typically, when we're talking about Syrah, one of the great pairings with Syrah is going to be lamb, and kind of lamb in any form. So I love on Sundays, our family sometimes goes down to Philly. We go to South Philly Barbacoa. So lamb barbacoa, even in like taco form, great idea for a wine like this. You could do something like a lamb tagine, which would be amazing. You could also just do a straight roasted lamb. Rack of lamb would be delicious with a wine like this. If you're not a lamb eater, no worries. You can definitely do something that is more on the beef side. But I really do think that this is a wine that loves a gamier meat. If you're into venison, also going to be great pairing. It tends to love meats that have a little bit of that kind of funk to it. So play into that. And if you're not a meat eater, definitely look for your eggplants to go with this, mushrooms to go with this. Some of those more intense, meatier vegetables will be phenomenal with this Syrah. I hope you love it.